Top of the morning, fight fans. This is Counterpunch with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, along with the LDBC. You know, I was just watching a video. Actually, this video was sent to me by one of the friends of the channel, and they wanted me to look at it, and it was by Blue Blood Sports TV. Shouts out to him, part of the LDBC, and he was explaining, or he was asking a question: why does Deontay Wilder need to speak? Because someone asked him that. Actually, it was on a live stream, and he said, well, why does Deontay Wilder need to speak? There's no reason for him to speak at all and say anything. Okay, that's why I'm making this video. This video is to counterpunch that video and explain the reason why he needs to speak. First off, Wilder needs to speak because Wilder is a partial self-promoted fighter, champion, former champion. Okay, Deontay Wilder has never been a quiet guy. He's never been that. He's never been as brash, you know, in certain points. Okay, but he's never been this quiet. So he needs to speak because he needs to address his fans, his public. Second of all, he needs to address the fight that he claims that he wants. Okay, if you activated a rematch clause, I mean, that's great. I mean, that's something you decided to do that shows people that you want the fight. You want the third fight. You want the trilogy fight. But if you don't speak and you don't promote it, how are we going to know it? This is October. Why is Wilder so quiet when a fight is that close to being made? Because here's the thing. Shelly Finkel came out recently right after it was announced that the fight won't be on a couple days ago. You guys remember. The fight was called off. Tyson Fury said, I'm moving on as of yesterday, and that is that. And we still have Wilder sitting back, not saying anything. Well, supposedly he did say that he hasn't trained at all. So that contradicts everything that we pretty much heard from July, from August, from September, and October, and this month. So we don't really know what's going on. And that's another reason that he should speak, because he knows all the stuff. He knows, I know for a fact, he knows all these rumors and all these narratives and all this stuff that's said about him. He knows that. Why would he want to stay in hiding? For what reason? There's no reason for you to do that at this point. Even if Tyson Fury is not fighting, at least you could say something to save face, like, look, I know you didn't want this fight. Look, I know this, I know that, unless he has something else up his sleeve. But at this point in time, if there's no fight, there's no need to sit back and stay quiet. You know, a fighter that lost his last fight, okay? He did. He lost his last fight. His first and only fight that he lost. He lost. We know he fired his trainer, but even that's a mystery because supposedly I was told that he fired him months ago, whereas there's Shelly Finkel saying that they just fired him, as we all know that. There is too many things to be answered from about one person. Okay, and that demands immediate attention. So don't say what a man doesn't have to do. Yes, he does, if he calls himself a man. You can say, well, I don't care about that. Well, do you care about fighting Tyson Fury? You might not care about rumors. Cool, fair play. But do you care about fighting the guy that you activated a rematch on? Do you care about that? I mean, you have to speak at some point. And again, if you have never been in a situation, or if you've always been that person that self-promoted yourself, he was always loud, he was always outspoken. That's Tyson Fury. That's Deontay Wilder. He didn't sit back and wait and let people talk for him. I've never seen anything like this. You know, and what people do, people will assume whatever they want. But eventually somebody, we've had people that came to his defense Okay, he's not on trial. Okay, but it seems that he is on trial. People treat Wilder like the Wizard of fucking Oz or something. You know what I mean? Don't tell me he's around. He still exists. I'm like, dude, where the hell is he? Did y'all kill him? What happened? You know, because it's just uncanny to me that a man that activated a rematch clause months ago, a man that's supposed to have been training and then come find out he's not training, right? This man is supposed to have had a surgery. We don't even know when he had the surgery. You know, that matters. A lot of people say, well, it don't matter. It does matter because there's a lot of things that's been said about him. And I can understand a person like Blue Blood Sports TV, especially if he was a part of spreading a particular narrative. Yeah, I would think you wouldn't want him to say certain things because one thing will happen if he starts saying what really happened at that time or what he feels that happened, and it discredits what you say, your channel will take a big hit for credibility because Deontay Wilder will set up and come out and say something different, just like his manager have. So let's put it this way: if Deontay Wilder finally decided to speak, and it said something contrary, like Shelly Finkel did a lot of these people's interviews about Wilder, he's going to look like him, and a lot of those channels are going to look crazy at the end of the day because they were spreading something they didn't really know. Now, according to sources, Blue Blood's supposed to know. He does supposed to know inside information about Deontay Wilder. Okay, fair enough. Why do you feel you have to speak for him, or why do you feel he doesn't have to say anything about himself? He does. He does have to say something about himself. Because at this point, if the fight is off, okay, what are your new plans? Again, we never seen him this quiet, and it's actually a concern, you know, because the only thing that you can assume at this point is you're quiet because either you're humbled, you were embarrassed, you lost for words, ashamed, or you're hiding some type of big thing at the end of the day. You know, some type of grand opening. But if the fight's off, how do we know you wanted to fight? Because it would seem like to me, if I activated a rematch clause after being beat by a person, but then I stayed quiet through this whole time, I've only poked my head out a couple times just to do certain things. The George Floyd, the dancing. He did an interview with PBC, you know, and then he did mention an injury. Go figure. But like other than that, if you want this and you were the one that activated this, because Tyson Fury didn't activate that. They were already content with their win. So it's up to Wilder to make it known. So it's up to Wilder's team, or what's left of it, to come forth to promote this fight. You know what I mean? Not get your best friend, not get anybody else to promote this fight. You need to promote this fight if you want this fight. Counterpunch. If you know it, okay, if he felt he was cheated, okay, that's one thing. Well, okay, all right, get your revenge in the ring. But if the fight's not happening, what are we going to do? What are we left with? How do we know you really wanted it? Because you can claim that Tyson Fury didn't want it due to the schedule or due to the loophole of the coronavirus and the complications that it caused with the dates. You could say that. But then again, a lot of people can say, well, hey, you were the one that lost, so why are you wanting him? Why are you trying to allow him to get an easy way out? Because him not talking makes me feel that Wilder wants to allow Tyson Fury an easy way out. He's allowing that to happen. And you know how I'm going to prove it to you? What happened last year when they were going to fight? When Tyson Fury pulled out of that fight when he took that ESPN deal, what happened? He pulled out, he said, get your profile up, and what did Wilder do? He exploded, right? Wilder exploded. Wilder was pissed. You was a coward. You didn't want to fight. You betrayed me. We had a deal. We had a 50-50 split. And what did you do? Right? You guys remember that? I mean, if you don't, I'm refreshing your memory. That's exactly what happened. But Wilder was not beat at that time. So we can only look at it like, okay, Wilder's acting as quiet because he's been beat, because that's the only difference. Your whole attitude changes. You get quiet and timid, quiet as a mouse because you got beat. That's all we see at this point. Now this dude talking about fighting Lucas Brown or some Joe Blow in the UK. He ain't fighting Joshua because Joshua's as a mandatory. He ain't. That's a different story with Joshua. He ain't fighting Joshua. He's fighting once again another damn tune-up fight to keep himself busy, and you're letting him do it by being quiet. That's why you need to speak for the dignity of the truth, what you really feel, and what the fuck is really going on. That's my counterpunch on that. You guys tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.